Okay, back again. I've pretty much finished the Kraton EXB now. I've got a couple of wee bits to go, but pretty much all of it's here just now. So I'm just going to run over what we've done. So it comes as a standard roller. I was going to get the V4 Kraton because my Nero kind of got outdated. So Kraton V4, good rig, but the EXB came out and kind of fancied that because I was going to do a lot of customising and things like that to it. I'll let you see what I've done. I'll take this off here. So start with the wheels. First off, they're proline badlands, the belted ones. I'm still waiting for the little centre hubs. They're going to be aluminium and it just stops them stripping out as easy. Got them on just now because I'm still waiting for the centre hubs. They're on back order. Next up from that, we have the hot racing hub carriers on the front and rear. They're all sealed bearings, slightly bigger bearings than the ones that come with Arrma. Other than that, I've not changed too much in those areas. I have, as you'll probably see with the shock absorber here, these springs are a little bit thicker than you would normally get on the Kraton. I just found that with the weight that I've got on here, that it was bottoming out so easy. So these are actually off the Arrma Nero, because I have a Nero. I compared them, they fitted, so just ordered a couple off Model Sport, they came in, fitted them on. I am going to upgrade the fluids, that's one of the things I've still got to do on there. I might actually put M2C O-rings in there as well, so they've got the sort of anti-rebound thing going on. That should stiffen that up a little bit. Moving from there, we've got the Vitavon, or Vitavon, I'm still not sure how to say this, nobody's actually told me anyway. These are all up and fitted. The reason I put these in is a couple of folk have had a bit of problems with the diffs blowing out on these, and I didn't want to mess about, so I was going to rebuild the diffs anyway. Everybody says as soon as you get out of the box, check your fluids, and sure enough, there was literally no fluid in any of them. The back diff, there was just like a fingerful of grease just stuck underneath. It wasn't even on the crown wheel. So stripping them was a good idea. Put an extra shim in the back one because there was a little bit of movement. It's a really small shim that was in there. The other thing I found that they had actually shimmed it with the new fix where they put a shim on this side here, but when they closed the diff housing on it, they actually folded the shim over, so it was a bit of trouble getting that other plastic diff housing case apart. But again, these are just minor glitches, and if you're buying something like this anyway, you really should be expecting that you're going to do a bit of work on it. I've got a couple of the ball ends here ordered in metal because these are plastic and they're not that strong. I could be honest, I've shredded one already, so there's new ones of them on order. On the diff housing itself, I've put M2C hinge pin kit on there for the rear because the rear usually takes the most of the bashing. I've heard good reviews on them, it looks pretty solid, quite liked how it was put together, so I ordered one up, put it on, great, fits perfectly. Other wee bits and bobs, I've got titanium drive shafts. These are actually from Scortched parts. They're a little bit wider, probably around about the same weight to be fair. Fit them on. A lot of the Arrma forums guys are saying these don't fit. Guess what guys, they do, they fit fine. You are going to have a wee bit of problem lifting the centre diff out in the usual manner where you just unscrew the top and lift it out, but it's easy enough to actually get into. All you need to do is unbolt this rear brace here at the back, slide it to one side, the whole lot lifts out, no problem at all. That's the only real bit it seems to foul at. It is just in there, as you can see there is enough space for it, it doesn't rattle against it. There's a little bit tight against the servo there, so if you want to take that out at the front, easy enough. There's just 4 bolts on the top of the servo holder, that'll take that out of the way, but I'm not really too bothered, it's easy to work on. I did upgrade the steering parts to the hot racing ones. I'm just going to get the focus here for you. The hot racing ones, they come with bearings in them rather than the brass bushings that Arrma supply, so it'll give you a wee bit better fit anyway. Other wee bits I've got, as you can probably see here, I've got the carbon top rod here. I got that, it's from Scorched parts. I also fitted the hot racing ends to it, and it's onto hot racing top mounts, front and on the rear as well. All really easy to fit. Everything seemed to bolt together really well as well. I didn't have any issues at all putting the Vitavon casings on or fitting any of the hot racing parts to it. There's not too much changed over. I have changed over, you can probably just see in here if I get the camera at the right angle. It's now got a metal diff holder in the centre. Arrma put the rear one that mounts the motor in with the metal fittings, and then fitted a plastic one in the front, which I didn't get, so I was waiting all this time for this to arrive from the States. It has now arrived, it's fitted on, fits perfectly, everything's smooth running, no issues there either. Couple of wee bits, got the Hobbywing Max 6 combo on there. I've also got the 4985 motor. I did put this little fan on here with the heatsink just to keep temperatures down. This is Racing, and I've done the gauzes on the top of it. That's just aluminium mesh. It's easy enough to bend and fit in and trim around the sides of it. So they're all on, up and running. They just run off the servo 3 and 4, so as soon as you turn it on, they're powered up. Other wee bits, I'm just trying to think what else I've fitted to this. It looks like it's quite a lot, there's not too much really. A lot of it was just making sure things worked. I'm on a 19 tooth pinion just now in there. I have got a 21 tooth as well to run, but I thought I'd start off at 19, just sort of bed it in a wee bit before I sort of put a lot of stress on it. Another thing I did do was I got a tip about the battery case. They can come loose on impact, and it really just is. There's a couple of wee screws underneath and they're only held into plastic. There was a lot of tips on the Arrma forum about doing it, but I found Bournemouth RC, he did a really good tutorial about how to replace it. So it's little sort of self-tapping, or self-grasping screws that fit in the top of it. You melt them in and then just stick a couple of new screws up from underneath. And this one I used 10mm M3 by 10mm titanium nuts. Just again, they were there, so I screwed them on. Saved a little bit of weight, but it's nothing really compared to the amount of weight I've added to it. I'm running I'm running max amps batteries. These are two 6500 milliamp batteries. Gives me 6S in total. They run at 150C constant, so I mean the max 6 ESC should be able to cope with that, no problem. But it should give it quite a bit of power. I know when I ran them in the Nero, it did sort of give me more than enough power. I've changed all the fluids out in the diffs as well. I'm now on 60,000 in the front, I'm on 500,000 in the middle, and I'm on 30,000 in the rear. And it has firmed it all up a good bit, it feels a lot more solid. I just thought I'd take some pictures, stick this on the internet, on YouTube, because it's going to be getting dirty tomorrow. I've been waiting 6 months or something like that there since I first decided to order this car to actually get it all together, get all the bits in from all over the place, put it together, and it's now kind of pretty much ready to go. I'm running FlySky's Noble NB4 radio system on there. I've still to set the power card into this. You can change it with a little set button on the back, but I did order the power card, a whole lot easier to use, it's less messing about. It's still running on 6 volts sorry, at the moment, but the servo's like lightning. This was a Power HD servo, and it's the S35 model. So if you run it at the 8.8 volts or whatever, it does do 35, but in 7.5 volts it's doing 30 kilograms. So it's a really powerful servo, but it runs in 0.07 of a second from throw to throw. So it's super quick. Again, it's going to be a case to take it out. I'm going to take it out tomorrow, just give it a couple of initial shots just to sort of tune everything up. I've set all the endpoints for the steering. I believe I've got the endpoints okay for the Max 6 combo. And it really is just to bed everything in. All the gears and everything, the diffs are all brand new. Oh, and another wee thing, I fitted the little wheelie bar on the back of the wing just to stop it from, well, it'll still flip upside down, but it should sort of protect the wing a wee bit from dragging on the ground. Trying to think if there's anything else I've done to this at the moment. There's a lot of little bits sort of hidden about it here and there and everywhere, but I'll try and get a little video soon of it up and running. And oh, one other main thing, this is what actually held things up. I was waiting to fit, you can probably see there, Radical RC UK bash bar. I actually ordered this at the same time I ordered the car, so it's been sitting here since the end of October, something about there. Great idea to have if you've got an Arrma. This thing here bolts underneath, it attaches to the diffs and the centre chassis braces. It gives you an extra 5mm of 70-75 aluminium. It probably does strengthen the chassis up a good wee bit torsionally from moving around. But the main thing is if you do land hard, it's going to sort of keep your Arrma chassis in good condition. I have fitted the little RPM brace at the back. Now, trying to get a focus on this. When you do go to fit one of these, I've noticed a few guys on the internet actually, they're telling people that if you fit this or the rear bumper one from RPM, that it can strip out in the little screws. And the reason for that is that it's quite a hollow screws. When Radical RC UK built this, they set the screws quite far up. They countersunk really well. Obviously it protects them from dirt, scratches and muck and things like that. However, if you're just screwing these up into plastic, then you're relying on the plastic to actually be the main stress point for any landings, and that's not really that good. So what I did do was I used a 2-part epoxy putty, and it's called milliput. Mixed 2 parts of clay together. After about half an hour or so they've hardened, but they're quite easy to work and manipulate. So simply just push them up into the holes, squeeze the RPM protector onto the top of it, worked all the rest of it out of the actual screw hole just with a little screw actually, and peeled it apart, shaved all the rest off of it so it was nice and clean, and it fits absolutely perfect. The RPM part here bolts straight in, it meets up with where the chassis is, so you can tighten these right up as you want to without fear of pulling the plastic through or bending it. Other than that, I think that's pretty much where I'm at just now. I did do the body shell with the shoe goo drywall tape. Never ever done one of these before, so this was a first time try, so no laughing. Again, that was Bournemouth RC. Followed his tutorial on it, and it's quite easy to follow, quite easy to do. I did a few of these things, got a lot of videos out there, like quite good tutorials. I did all the drip screws as well, which if you're unaware, there's a little screw down in the suspension arm in there, and what it does, it stops whenever the car sort of comes off the ground or it turns upside down. The suspension arm can't go down too far, so it's not relying on the bottom of the shock to stop the swing arm from going too low. It relies on a little screw to stop it, thereby taking away the strain from the bottom of these, because there's a few folk at first have taken them out of the box, used them, snapped them off. So that's all set up properly. Really just the last wee things I've got to do are fill oil in the shocks, get these alloy centres whenever they do finally come in, fit the little ball joints onto the end of the anti-roll bars, and then go and break it, basically. Take out lots of times and break it. I'll give you a wee running video of it whenever I do actually get it out running, but we'll see how we get on. Thanks for tuning in. If you do like this, please hit the like button, hit subscribe and you'll see more videos, or pass it on to somebody else. Thanks so much.